Hey guys, Lisa from Hello Happy here, and I've got a brand new crochet tutorial for you today. I'm going to show you how to make this cute little kitty cat card wallet holder thingy bobber. Now you might think this long loop on the end of it is for holding it on your wrist, and that's one way you can use it, but it's not what I intended. So really, it's so that you can loop it on something like a tote bag or any other big purse, and it'll stay right at the top so you don't lose it. Look at that. Look at that. It's off camera because I suck, but you get the idea. You can just pull it up there because it's attached to the handle. Bajoom! So let's do this. So for supplies, I used a DK weight yarn and a 4mm hook, but you can pretty much use anything. You just need to adapt the pattern to fit whatever yarn and hook you have. You need like a credit card on hand so you can make sure your thing fits cards, because that's literally the whole point. And then depending on how you want to do the face, you need to have like some embroidery thread or like regular thread or some really skinny yarn, like however you want to do it. You just gotta have that. And with all projects, you'll need a yarn needle and a pair of scissors. And I think that's it. Alright, first step is going to be to make a foundation row of single crochet. If you don't know how to make a foundation row, you could always chain and then single crochet into that, but you should just go and learn how to make a single crochet foundation row if you don't already know, because it's way better. So you need your little snake of yarn to be just a little bit longer than the card. Like you can see in the photo, there's extra room on each side. Mine is 13 single crochet, but depending on your tension, your yarn, your hook, the number 13 might be too small or it might be even too big. So you'll need to experiment and just make sure the size of it is similar to my photo. For the rest of your card wallet, you're going to be working in unjoined rounds. So for round 2, go ahead and single crochet around the top and bottom of the foundation row that you did, so that you end up with a total of either 26 stitches or just double what you started with. And go ahead and use the yarn under, yarn over method of single crochet for this, so that your stitches are nice and compact and tight. I do have a tutorial for that. The link should be appearing on the screen, so go learn how to do that if you don't know how to do it. For round 3 and round 4, just repeat going around for 26, and then for round 5 and 6, do them in your other color or don't. Hopefully you kind of sketched out a little idea of the kind of cat you want to make, so either switch colors here or don't. It's really up to you what you want to do. But I will type up the full instructions and put them right here on the screen. You can pause and follow them, or adapt them to however you want. But basically, just make it tall enough so that you've got just a little bit of your credit card poking up out of the top, like the final photo here. And then you can make the ears. So of course, if your stitch count is different from mine, you'll need to edit this and make it fit what you have. But here's what I did on the front side. So in the first stitch, single crochet. In the next stitch, half double. In the third stitch, you do 3 stitches. You do double crochet, treble crochet, double crochet. In the next stitch, it's half double. And then the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches, you do single crochet. And then you repeat the ear again with the half double crochet, and then the 3 stitches in the next stitch, the double, treble, double. The next stitch is half double crochet, and then for the rest of the round, it's single crochet. I'll show you my little graph that I wrote out that helped me do the math on where to put stuff, and then hopefully you can take that and use that as well. I personally find graph paper so useful. I write all of my patterns out on graph paper so that I can easily make little diagrams for myself to figure out math, because I think it's so much easier having like a visual thing than it is to just like sit there and count and try to memorize numbers. So if you struggle with that too, I highly recommend just making your own graphs like this. And this now is the last round of crochet. So what you're going to do is you're going to slip stitch the entire round. When you hit the middle stitch between the two ears, you need to make a loop, which is of course for the button. So I did a chain of 9 and then I slip stitched into the same stitch since my middle stitch count is 5. But if yours is an even number, do like, chain 9 or however many seems right to fit a button on, and then slip stitch into the next stitch because you have 2 middle stitches instead of 1 middle stitch. So do whatever works for you. I also did 2 slip stitches into the top point of each ear because that made it more pointy. So experiment with that, see what works for you. And then when I got back around to the start of the round, I made the wrist / bag strap. That sounds terrible. I got no other name for it. And that I did a chain of 45. So experiment with that. Again, of course, it needs to be big enough that you can pull the wallet through it, and also it's nice if it can go around your wrist. So play with the number 45 and see what works for you, and then just make a final slip stitch back into the round and you're done, and then you can weave away your ends. After that, you can make the face. I used embroidery floss and I made a pretty simple face. You could probably copy this easily, but do whatever you want. If you're planning to put this in your pocket, I definitely don't recommend gluing anything on because that'll eventually just get worn off. So don't like glue on felt or anything. I'd say embroider or even sew on some buttons for the eyes or something, but yeah, would not recommend felt or glue if it's a project that's going to take a beating. And the final step for this project, though it is optional, is blocking. If you've never blocked before, this is a great intro. Essentially, just pin your project down on like a towel folded over many times or a yoga mat folded over many times. If you don't have a blocking mat, I don't own a blocking mat, even though I've been knitting and crocheting for 15 years because like I already own things that work, but you can certainly buy a blocking mat should you choose. Just pin your little dude into place. I recommend leaving the cards inside the wallet so that it's already stretched out. Pin it into place and then spray it with water and then maybe adjust the pins so they're stretched out a little bit. So what this does is it makes it so that it will dry in the shape that you gave it, because if you have sort of a tight fitting card holder, it'll retain that stretched out shape, so you don't need to like stretch it out every time. And then you can also just like help the ears be more pointy by shaping them and then letting them dry in that shape. So it'll just be way more cat-like. However, this generally only works if you're using a yarn with natural fibers in it. If you used acrylic, you can sort of block your project with water. It won't work as well. It does make a difference, but it's a lot less of a difference. So you can try steam. You're gonna have to read about that. That's a whole different method, but basically you can sort of, but this is gonna work best with natural fibers. Oops, my bad. That wasn't the final step. The final step, of course, is to sew the button onto the back. So pull the loop to the back to determine where the button should go. It should be, just slightly above where the bottom of the loop is. And you do want to stretch the loop a little bit just to make sure there's enough tension that the button will hold it. Yeah, because you don't want it to pop open. That kind of defeats the whole purpose. So yeah, sew the button on and then you're done. So hopefully you made yourself a cute, adorable, and useful little card holder after all this. And if not, I'm sorry. Anyway, like this video, subscribe if you want more kind of useful tutorials that are kind of a mess also, but cute. Yeah, okay, bye.